Rock here with another stream. Hopefully, all of you are having a wonderful Friday, December 30th this morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Sorry for the late start to the stream, but had sure stream was ready to go. Had to make sure I was connected to my hotspot so we don't have any interruptions like we did yesterday, which kind of derailed the stream. Nonetheless, guys, crypto market cap sitting under $800 billion again. Bitcoin sitting at 40.1% dominance. ETH sitting at 18.4 dominance. Bitcoin holding above 16,500. It did fall down like we discussed yesterday a bit. ETH sitting below 1200. Binance Coin 245. Dogecoin 6.7 cents. Cardano 24.3 cents. Matic 75.6 cents. Uh, Cosmos 937. Chainlink 549. Taking a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we are going down for the day. We are already down a whopping 200 points here in the past hour that the stock market's opened. Taking a look at the Bitcoin chart, we can see that we fell as low as 16,350. Bulls, put in some work here in the past half hour or so, have driven the price action back above 16,500. But again, is this momentum going to fizzle out leading into the later part of the day? Taking a look at the hourly, we can see that Bitcoin, again, it has recovered from that little dip, but now we're retesting lines of support around $16,550. Uh, Again, time will tell whether the bulls regain this level that was one support just past 2-3 days ago, is now becoming resistance. It flipped. So we need to pay attention to that. And again, kind of the ranges we were talking about, right around 16,500 and 16,400. Those lines of support essentially did break down. We're going to potentially retest the latter of those two ranges here later today. But again, for all I know, maybe Bitcoin has up to 17K or something like that again, and then maybe we go lower there. Not financial advice, of course. Dollar currency index DXY still struggling to find a bottom, and when it does bottom, probably can see a huge pump to the upside. And when that happens, you better expect the stocks and crypto to get smashed as a result. But for all I know, this could more or less stay in range or head lower a little bit more. But again, time will tell. So discussed yesterday, Bitcoin network has processed a whopping $100 trillion worth of transactions in its lifetime. And interestingly enough, three-fifths of that amount, which is $60 trillion, has been processed just this year. Let that sink in, guys. So many people are using Bitcoin wide, for numerous reasons, for many purposes and such. Just let that sink in. $60 trillion worth of transactions this year. Bitcoin is the exit strategy according to Michael Saylor. As we discussed yesterday, this man and his company MicroStrategy essentially hold one 159th of the total supply of Bitcoin out there. Pretty crazy. Kind of, mixed feelings about one entity or one company owning so much Bitcoin. What does that mean for the decades to come? Are they going to hold a monopoly essentially over Bitcoin holdings? One 159th is lower than 1%, but pretty wild stuff nonetheless. MicroStrategy owns so many Bitcoin that they could sell 1 Bitcoin per hour every day for 15 years, and they would still have Bitcoin. Again, just showing you how many Bitcoins they hold. It's pretty crazy. Bitfinex exchange delists BSV, no room for fake Bitcoin. Bravo, Bitfinex. Chinese Communist Party official Zhao Yi admitted in court to helping Bitcoin miners from 2017 to 2021. Again, kind of destroys the whole narrative that China hates Bitcoin because it wastes electricity, wastes power, and such. Meanwhile, people in their own government were helping Bitcoin miners operate for some 4+ years. Pretty wild stuff. Uh, every time people freak out about Bitcoin, they think it's about to die, has a tendency to survive. Um, Again, just showing you the resilience behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin's kind of like Mario right here, just bopping up and bopping down. Oh, we think it's going to die. Oh, it's going to zero. Oh, went back up. Binance users can now purchase crypto using Apple Pay and Google Pay. Pretty cool stuff. More adoption as a result of this. So good for Binance figuring that out. BMW to integrate blockchain technology and use Binance Coin or Binance Smart Chain to settle transactions for customer loyalty program. That's pretty interesting development. Not really see that coming. I did not. I did not see that coming. Sorry. Had an idea a company like BMW would integrate blockchain technology and use Binance Coin of all things. Pretty crazy stuff. Say Solana network, Solana network, Solana not work. And I had a buddy message me yesterday and ask me about Solana, and I told him, well, I'm not saying it's dead, but it's fallen 90+%, and a lot of the NFT stuff, to my knowledge, is moving over to Ethereum along with Polygon. So I'm not saying the network's dead by any means, but you have to be realistic and see that projects are moving to other protocols, other networks, and such. And Solana was heavily vested in FTX and such. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too bullish on Solana. That's not to say it couldn't potentially be a great opportunity to buy some, maybe at these lower price points, maybe as we head closer to five, maybe $3 or $4 Solana. Maybe it might be a possibly good time to buy in, but again, seeing all these NFT projects leave the Solana ecosystem is not a great sign for things to come. Again, that's not to say VCs can't just hop in at some point and buy the tokens, but I don't know. I'm not my conviction with Solana is not really there. Hate to break it to you guys. Dylan LeClaire saying Sol is down 96.73% from all-time highs and still falling. Put he put a little picture of Dan Pena over in the bottom right. He's notorious for saying Bitcoin is going to zero. Like he's one of those bears. He just doesn't believe in Bitcoin, kind of like Warren Buffett and such. But kind of comical that he added that little funny bit. Justin Sam Bankman-Fried reportedly cashes out $684,000 while under house arrest. What gives, Sam? I thought you only had $100,000 to your name. Your bail was something like $25 million. Where'd you get that money, Sam? And then here we have just casually another $2/3 of $1 billion, or sorry, $2/3 of $1 million just out of thin air. Like again, what gives? Focus on the upcoming bull market, you guys. Will rip much higher than most can fathom. Build your positions while we are close to the bottom. You'll never catch the absolute bottom. There's no need to. You won't care if you bought 10% over the bottom when Bitcoin is at 100K. I wholeheartedly agree, but I think now is the time to stack cash, wait for lower prices, and then DCA. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy any at these prices, but I think we have to go down a good 5 to 10% from Bitcoin, if not maybe more. So, man, what's going to happen to alts? They're going to bleed like crazy. According to Elon Musk, every social media company is engaged in heavy censorship controlled by the government. I believe his assessment, his assumption is right. And according to a poll conducted by Rasmussen Reports, 63% of Americans want Congress to investigate the FBI's involvement in censoring posts on Twitter and other social media sites. It's time to mothball the FBI and put it in a museum. Um, yeah, it's pretty crazy that this is never addressed by Congress and such. Just the casual, massive censorship we see when it came to social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. If you didn't toe the line, say what the establishment wanted to hear, you would be censored, banned, etc. Your account deleted. I know I had my Snapchat deleted last year, my old account that I had since high school. And it was deleted and they gave me no valid reason. So I just assumed it was some of the stuff that I was posting out there was a little bit too close to target, so to speak. And nonetheless, that's why they banned me. But pretty crazy stuff. President Biden signs 1.7 trillion omnibus government spending bill. Again, they don't really care about us. They don't care about our privacy and such. And it's because they're too busy spending our tax dollars. Can someone explain how we can have a $1.7 trillion spending bill and not turn the printer back on? Looking for a real answer here. Tax revenue question mark. Like, we have trillions of surplus somewhere that I don't know about? BitBoy is on the money when it comes to this. The money printer has to go burr for this $1.7 trillion to just come out of nowhere. It has to come from somewhere. It comes from the Federal Reserve. Um, Again, found someone happy with the omnibus bill. More money for the foreign country that controls America, more hate speech tracking, more speech laws, more money to their guy in Ukraine. It's absolutely horrendous. Meanwhile, you and I have to work potentially 2, 3 jobs just to make ends meet. It's disgusting. Presidential alerts to your cell phone tells us they're capable of processing the E911 chip in your cell phone, giving them full access to your location, microphone, camera, and every function of your phone. This is heads up, not a rant. I'm still one of the leading cybersecurity experts. Wake up, people. This is coming from John McAfee. He was a security expert. He he was he supposedly died about, I believe, a year and a half ago. And there was theories going around that when he passed away, a dead man's hand would have activated, leaking plenty of classified documents and such, incriminating people in power and such. But not much has really come to light when it came to this man and the dead man's hand. I think it was all just a theory, potential scenario that could have played out, but I guess didn't. But I think that was rather interesting. That's why I thought I'd include it here. And just goes to show you they're too busy tracking everything you're doing to really give an F whether the FBI is abusing human rights or, things of that nature. So, not racist. Biden issues COVID testing for China travelers. Called Trump xenophobic for same move when Donald Trump back in 2020, before COVID hit the U.S. He blocked travel from China directly, and he was labeled a xenophobe. And now that Biden's doing the same thing, more or less, the media is praising him. They're not. Again, no, nothing wrong with Joe Biden doing that. Spain's health ministry, ELA says, or minister, travelers from China to Spain will be required to test negative for coronavirus to be fully vaccinated. So, again, another country looking to implement the same measures as the U.S. Are we going to see other countries in NATO follow suit and do something similar? I'm not sure, but kind of concerning. Essentially, People from China will be excluded from coming to the United States, essentially, if they refuse to take a medical procedure right here or refuse to take a test. Pretty crazy stuff. Just a reminder that China COVID deaths accelerated to 9,000 a day, according to the UK research firm Airfinity. Pretty crazy stuff. Again, they never achieved herd immunity. That's why they're getting so uh, hard hit or hit pretty hard when it comes to the latest wave of COVID cases. China's President Xi saying China and Russia should explore energy cooperation, according to CCTV. Xi, talking about the Ukraine crisis, says China will continue to uphold an objective and fair stance, according to Chinese state media. He also said that China and Russia should closely coordinate and cooperate in international affairs. Again, lines growing stronger between China and Russia. This is definitely should be rather concerning for NATO countries, countries of the West, Western hegemony by and large. China's President Xi says China will play a constructive role on the Ukrainian issue. What does this mean? Is it all talk? Are they going to start supplying Russians with more military gear? Russia's Putin, on the other hand, tells Xi we are aiming to strengthen cooperation between Russian and Chinese military forces. Again, it's a little concerning. Are they going to go take not only Ukraine, will they invade Taiwan potentially? And the West will not accept that, so they will fight tooth and nail to maintain control over Taiwan. Again, scary precedent. Not trying to fearmonger, but we do need to be aware of these things going on. After the holidays, the Russian government will issue acts on price cap when it comes to natural gas. This is coming from IFX. What does this entail for the West? Does this entail more pain, higher prices by and large? Russia's setting to ramp up diesel exports in January before the EU ban. Pretty crazy stuff. Again, the world is becoming bipolar as opposed to unipolar, for better for worse. I have mixed. I think there's pros and cons to each of those scenarios, but I would prefer a unipolar or monopolar world personally. I'm not saying I want a one world government, but I'm just saying, can we return to how things were back in early 2000s, or maybe not early 2000s but mid 2000s, early 2010s. Like, I don't think we need to divide the world in two and force people to choose a side, but that's just me. Keep an eye on Guyana. The oil discoveries there, changing the geopolitics of the Caribbean, and the CCP is all over the region. Is Guyana going to be potentially a area where the West extracts a good chunk of their oil from? Again, will this be the U.S. by and large supplying, countries in Europe with natural gas and such, so people are able to heat their homes? I definitely think the heating of your home will be an issue. Not so much this year, but I think it'll be really bad next winter. But again, I could be wrong. Andrew Tate and his brother have been arrested on human trafficking charges. Do you think he actually did it, or is it just the system coming after him? Well, personally, I'm not going to claim that Andrew Tate is an angel or anything, but I personally don't think he was involved in human trafficking. I do think uh, the timing of all this is rather interesting. Um, Very interesting to say the least. Don't you know the details of Cobra Tate arrest? But here's what I do know. A day after he publicly calls out one of woke's heroes, Greta Thunberg, they raid his place. Strange timing. Meanwhile, we haven't seen anyone from Epstein's list arrested. Very strange. Yeah. Again, if they claim to care about human trafficking, wouldn't they have prosecuted the many, many politicians in our government that paid a visit to Mr. Epstein on his private island? I don't care your opinion on Andrew Tate, but don't tell me the authorities care about human trafficking when we all know full well that Ghislaine Maxwell went to jail for human trafficking, but no one else did because they don't care. Fiction. Hashtag Andrew Tate didn't kill himself. And there is, weirdly enough, this picture of Elon Musk with Ghislaine Maxwell. Could they be blackmailing Mr. Musk in some way, shape, or form from not leaking too much information? Again, is this all an illusion to give us the is this all a ploy to give us the illusion that we are winning, things are becoming more fair and free? I'm not exactly sure, but just something to consider. Prosecutors say JP Morgan Chase knowingly facilitated, sustained, and concealed Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking operation and financially benefited from it. Oh, wow, what a surprise. I didn't see that coming. I'm that was supposed to be sarcastic. We couldn't tell. Black Swan event will not likely occur in 2023. There's a possibility, MKM partners have said. Coin Bureau corrects the statement, says black swans are by their definition unpredictable. So for them to say there's a possibility, I think that pretty much confirms there will be some sort of black swan event, kind of like what we saw here earlier in the year back in February with Russia invading Ukraine. We saw black swan occur as a result. But we'll see. Time will tell. Customers lose when this happens, but tell the whole story. This only happens with help of the U.S. government. Robert Reich tweeted this out. Wall Street has consolidated into 5 giant banks. Airlines have merged from 12 carriers in 1980 to 4 today. Handful of drug companies control the pharmaceutical industry. 4 giants control over 80% of meat processing. Evidence of corporate concentration is everywhere. And the sad thing is a lot of these companies were instrumental. They backed the mandates and such. So if you didn't want to take particular medical procedure, you were fired. You were ostracized by many of these same corporations. By definition, that is fascism. The large corporations working hand in hand with the arguably authoritarian state and essentially working with one another to achieve their agenda. And that's what we've been seeing here in the United States for quite some time. It's been a thing long before I was born, but I thought this was just interesting, and I thought I'd include it at the end of the video, the end of the stream. Hopefully, you guys found today's stream or video entertaining, educational, and informative in some way, shape, or form. If you did, please drop us a like, subscribe to the channel for more streams like this. Share the video with your friends and family to essentially help them stay informed. But until next time, guys, I hope you guys all take care and invest wisely. I'll see you guys Monday. See you next year. Ha ha ha. I'll see you guys Monday. But yeah, take care and invest wisely.